Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knock Off Rugby, the place where you can get some valuable insights and breaking news, which we have got in, especially about the Springboks. And I suppose it's relevant to the Wallabies as well, considering that they will now know who they won't play against. Following the loss at Ellis Park that shocked most of South Africa and I suppose most of the rugby world, no one saw that coming. There is a few more costs to pay. In terms of the Springboks, we have 4 current players injured in terms of the players that played on Saturday. They are Kolisi, our captain, Pieter-Steph du Toit, Edwill van der Merwe, and Arendse. I would say 3 out of those 4 are potentially damaging in terms of what we need to do this weekend, because even though Rassie did say that they announced the squad internally last week already, I think he did indicate that there would have to be changes. There were probably going to be changes, and I think these 3 players in Pieter-Steph du Toit, Kolisi, and Arendse were going to be some of those changes. I think we were going to play an incredibly strong side. Not that the one on Saturday, this past Saturday, wasn't, but I think we were going to play tried and tested. Especially with the rain coming in, I also think we were going to go 6-2 or 7-1. Which now could be pretty complicated. We all talk about the depth that we have in South Africa, but I think the gap between certain positions, player 1 and player 2 or player 3, is evident in terms of performance and ability. So I think now going for one of the big forward benches is going to be a bit tricky. In terms of experience and overall ability. I mean, we do have back row stocks still, even with Cameron Hanukam out, even with Visa out, even with Elrich Low out, even with Pieter-Steph out, even with Kolisi out. We still have stocks. We have Dupree, we have Mostert, who can play lock and 7. I actually think he should get a run at 7 this weekend. That's going to be my hot take. But my point is, we got Tuka, who's on the outskirts. We do have tried and tested. I wouldn't say tried and tested. That's probably a bit strong. We do have guys that's been in the Springbok jersey before that can cover. Evan Roos, which was a big surprise in his exclusion in terms of the original squad that was named. So when I say it leaves us thin in the back row stocks, I mean in terms of experience, and I mean in terms of, in my opinion, overall ability. I do not think that. I think Tuka and Mostert could be, Mostert's a great lock. I think Tuka could be great. I think Dan Dupree could be great. But they're not there yet. They're not on the level of Visa. They're not on the level of Pieter-Steph du Toit. And I'm not actually sure who's the like replacement of Kolisi. It's probably going to be Eskom again. But I don't think he had a very good game, so I'm not sure. Kwagga Smith, I also didn't think had a good game, so I'm not so sure there. Maybe they can consider him at 8. I don't think so. I think this is the perfect opportunity too, because we have to give those second stringers that's got no experience, like I've just said, maybe give them game time. That's the options, right? That's probably the solution. Put them in the boiling water and see what they do. In terms of the next 2 injuries, it is the 2 wingers that played on the weekend. One of them in Edwill van der Merwe. It's the first bad game I think he's had in a Springbok jersey. However, one could argue that the first couple of games that he did have were against Tier 2 nations. So, Wales and Italy can't be Tier 2 nations, but in terms of their performance, they're not up there with the Tier 1 nations, unfortunately now, with all due respect. So, he was put under a bit of pressure. He was playing in a team that was under a bit of pressure this past weekend, and he didn't really come out swimming. So I think that does leave us a bit light in terms of the wing stocks. We can make it work. I do think Ethan Hooker was probably going to start either on the wing or in the centres. I think they pick him at 13 if we win the first test. Now I think he's going to be on the bench covering the midfield and covering the edges. He can play 12, 13, 14, and 11. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to start with Kolbe and Moody, considering Moody was at the presser with Rassie Erasmus. It does leave us a bit thin if one of them go down for the next game. Eden Park's going to be a bit of a worry with all these big names out, because I think 3 of these 4 injuries would play at Eden Park, would probably have played this week In terms of the locks, it's funny. I actually think we should bring in Ruan Nokier and RG Snyman should start. That's where I think the biggest changes are going to be. And the back row, but the back row is a bit. We'll have to do something there. The locks are more like we can do something, because I think Mostert should probably start on 7. It gives us a lot of jumping options. Our lineout went particularly badly on Saturday, and I think we need to fix that. I think we need to go away from the 4-man and the 5-man lineouts and do some full-man lineouts. Get all the jumpers in there. Put some mauls down. I think with the weather coming in, Cape Town looks like it's going to be raining. I think it's going to be balls in the air and, excuse the pun, and smashing through the middle. I think mauls are going to be important. I think the forward's going to be important. I think the 6-2 bench is going to be important, no matter the experience that we have. So those are my takes. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. I will try and get back to you in the comments. I am trying to grow this channel. This is a passion of mine. I am going to be putting out as much videos as I can when I have time. And yeah, thank you very much, guys. Enjoy. Cheers.